Hello everybody, welcome back. Okay, I'm the bearer of bad news once again. Unfortunately, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? So, what's going on this time? Okay, it's all kicking off, isn't it? Again, which it always bloody does. It always kicks off. The topic is that Axel fella. You know who he is. We all know who he is. And if you don't know who he is, you're going to find out. Because his dad's come onto the scene, his father, and he's got some things to say about his lovely son. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Let's find out what is going on in the news.
Analyzing the news.
Yep, there he is. That's his ugly mug. He is ugly, isn't he? You know what I mean? He just looks stupid, uneducated, thick. I've got to choose my words carefully, but anything I'll say about that idiot is going to be negative, because that's what he is, an absolute idiot. He's probably the most hated person in the world. What he did to them poor little kids, little children, is disgusting. That's not even the word. There's no descriptive word that you can use. I wouldn't even call him an animal. I don't know what he is, but either way, there's nothing positive I can say about him or as a human being. Is he a human being? What is he? No one even cares what he is. It's not important to anyone. What's important is what happened to them young little girls who are just dancing in a hall. We're going to find out. If you don't already know about him, I'm sure you do. But if you don't, we're going to do a little bit of recap about him and what's going on in the news currently, because it's all kicking off. But his name is Axel Radakabana, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't even respect him, so I don't care what his name is. But he's known as the Southport serial killer, or whatever word you want to use. He's just an idiot. Absolute idiot. So, yeah, let's find out what is going on in the news, because it's been announced today. There's more gossip. I say gossip, that's the wrong terminology. But there's more things that have been brought into fruition. Hi, everyone. Deep breath. Thanks for tuning in today. Today we're going to talk about a story, obviously a true story, because it's factual and it happened and it's still happening now, and it's very chilling. It's also confusing and huge in what it tells us about families, warning signs, and what happens when they're ignored. We're talking about the family of Axel Radakabani, whatever his name is, I don't care. I'll call him Axel. Yeah, the boy who carried out the mass stabbing in Southport. Why do they call him a boy? He was 18. He's not a boy, he's a man, isn't he? You're not an adult at 18? Am I confused or something? The man, let's get it right, who killed the children. We're going to talk about the revelations of his father is given, because he's given information now. His father is given information in regards to a public inquiry about threats that he had. One of the threats were, this is from his father's perspective, oil being poured, menacing confrontations, and all sorts of other stuff. Now, this is heavy, but we'll walk it through together. I also want your thoughts and reactions as we go along, because this isn't just about me talking. This is also about you giving your opinion and your thoughts on this subject. So please comment below, because genuinely I want to hear it. So if we look at the background first of just to give you a bit of insight, the background and who is this Axel and who we're talking about, if you don't already know. So first, who is he? Well, let's be frank, this man murdered 3 young girls in July 2024 during a dance class in Southport in the UK. His minimum term in prison is 52 years, which is good. He should get more than that. He should get worse than that, but I'm not the law. I don't make the law. We just abide by it. But 52 years. Now, his family is giving evidence at an inquiry about what happened before that attack, because people want to know, why would you do that? Why? They want to know what was going on in his house, his mindset. Did his parents have something to do with it? There's all these questions, isn't there? Now, his father's saying that with this Axel, there was violent behaviour, there was threats of knives, and extreme signs of psychotic behaviour. So they knew that he was an idiot. I'm not going to say a psychopath or whatever. He was a loner, a weirdo. I don't want to keep negative about him because I'll end up just ranting about how much I dislike this thing. But anyway, what do you think? When someone shows violent behaviour early, do you feel the warning bells go off right away? It's a good question, isn't it? What are the signs? Do they expect their son to go and murder all them little girls? Did they have an inkling that eventually it would be inevitable and that's what would happen? What do you think? Have you got children? Does their behaviour concern you? Probably not. But what he did was horrific, evil, beyond evil. And we want to know what's going on in his house. We want to know what's going on in this environment, where he came from, why he did what he did. Because usually what you do, you blame the parents. And that isn't always the case. It's not always the parents' fault. Believe me. I know many people that are the salt of the earth. Lovely, lovely, warm, caring parents. And the child is literally out of control. And they can't cope with them. So it's not always as black and white as you may think. But again, this is why this inquiry is going on. So we're going to look into it anyway. We're going to find out a little bit more because that's what we want. We want the answers, don't we? So when someone shows up violent behaviour early, do you feel the alarm bells ringing? That's my question to you. Or do you just don't think about it, don't worry about it? I know for me, yes, I'd feel uneasy. But did others see it? Did other people who knew him, family members, did they see it? Did they see something wasn't right with this idiot? This man who was going to do this horrific thing to completely innocent children? Well, let's look at the father's claim, because the father's claim, he's saying that his son threatened to kill him several times. He's one of the more intense bits that his father expressed about his son. He says his son poured oil over his head and threatened to kill him. Now, if my son threw oil over my head and threatened to kill me, I'm not just going to be subservient to that. Something's going to happen. Either, well, what can I say? Choose your words carefully. I'd get the police involved. I'd get social services involved. I'd say something's wrong with this kid, right? And he's my son and I love him, but still something's off and it needs to be addressed immediately because he ain't staying in my house if he's doing that. So, okay, was he known to the police? Was he known to social services, right? Apparently it was. But this is what the dad said. He had death threats and again, the oil being poured over his head, and that's his dad. He said the father actually said he felt conditioned to the abuse. Now you might look at that and think, oh, that's bullcrap. No, it is. It's bollocks, isn't it? Really, you're not going to be conditioned unless let your son pour oil all over you or give you abuse. You're not going to get used to that type of behaviour. You're not going to put up with it. But it's easy to say that, but the reality is, it's never as simple as that. Some people do put up with it. Some parents get so drained emotionally, mentally, and physically that they don't know what the outcome is. They can't control the situation. They can't control their son's behaviour, and that does happen. So it's important that we do recognise that. Okay, remember, it wasn't the father that committed these crimes, or the mother, or the brother. It was him, the Axel man, right? So let's not take our eyes off the focus of this situation, okay? Because that's one thing. But yeah, his dad was being treated like crap, basically, violently, and I imagine his mother was as well. But is she commented on it? No, but the brother has. But what are your comments? What would you do if your child started acting violently towards you? Now be real, be honest. Now you might think, oh, well, I would have put up with it. But if it was going on and on and on and on and on, and you had this love towards your son, you didn't want to hurt him, but you couldn't deal with what was happening, but you had no control over it, what would you do? Would you know how to step in if you were in his parents' shoes? Think about it. Pause and think. This isn't a one-off tantrum. This is a sustained menace in their home. I want your take. Do you feel that the system failed earlier? Or did the family struggle alone? What do you think? This isn't taking anything away from that idiot, right? But we have to understand it. And the reason we have to understand it so it doesn't happen again. Because if we don't, then it's inevitable. It's going to happen again. And we're not going to accept it. We can't accept it. We won't accept it. It ain't happening. I can't even look at his face, but I need to put his face up just so you recognise him, just so you know who we're actually talking about. This is the actual Axel guy, not the father. Be aware of that. So then the brother's testimony. His brother said, I feared he'd kill a family member. So that was the concern of his own brother. Now the brother, Dion, testified he'd feared his sibling, meaning brother, would kill someone 2 years before the attack. So he had concerns anyway. His brother was saying basically, Axel's going to kill someone. And he was saying that 2 years before. He described the behaviour in his brother is unpredictable. He said they even hid knives in the house to avoid disaster. So they used to keep knives away from him because they were felt that he'd end up bloody stabbing them. They knew it was coming. If you found that out about someone in your family, what would you do? For me, I'd want to help from professionals. And I'd also worry, is this making things worse by trying to fix it alone? But what's your thoughts? We don't know what was going through the mind of the father, how he was dealing with it. But we're not asking him, we're asking you. How would you deal with that situation? Here's where it gets a little bit more frustrating. There were warning signs. There were knives brought to school by that Axel. He was expelled, which is exclusion, for violent outbursts. Mental health assessments that failed to flag risk to others. So we did have mental health diagnostics. We did have professionals going in saying, is this person all right? And there was no red flags. They thought, he's all right. But he wasn't. So the question becomes, were there chances to step in before? And were they missed? Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because you don't know the intention of someone. You could, I'm not saying you, but someone could have psychopathic tendencies, then go and see a psychiatrist or whatever, and then put a front on. They can act it. They say, I'm fine. And they are fine. But the mind's warped. That doesn't mean that. I'm not saying that's mental health. That's just something else. What is it? Jealousy, bitterness, shyness, anger, resent. All these. Oh, he was alone, wasn't he? He didn't have to be like that. He could have interacted with people. And if he was shy, he could have learned how to interact with people and become a better person. Self-development. Not everyone gets on with everyone all the time. Some of us sit on our own at school and we've got no friends. Doesn't mean we're going to kill everyone because we're angry because no one loves us. If you're in that situation, you've got to think, right, how can I self-develop myself? How can I be a better person? How can I be seen? But then there's other people like this idiot who's like, well, I'm going to control everyone because I hate myself so much because everyone hates me, so I'm going to hate them. The ego. Is that what it is? Do you believe enough was done by the schools, by the services, by his parents? My thought, stuff did happen, but maybe not enough. And maybe it was too late. But again, we're not taking anything away from the reality that it was this man that did it. It's no one's fault, it's his fault. It's easy to say, well, the police should have known, that the local authority should have known. He did it, him. He should have known. There's 7 billion people on this planet. We don't all go around killing each other, do we? But maybe, was it mental health? Did he have mental health? But again, the psychologist said no. There was no flags to indicate that anything was wrong with him. He was fine. And they felt that confident in that they thought, well, just don't worry about it. Let it go. Everything's going to be all right. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's ludicrous. You can spend time with someone and you can sort of know if there's a twinkle in their eye or darkness. You can see it. You can see it. And I'm not a professional. I was a psychologist. But even as a human being, I think you have a gut feeling, sensory awareness, if something's off, if somebody's off. But let's talk broader. What does this story actually show us? One is violent behaviour at home shouldn't be dismissed as just teenage rage. Two is families may feel powerless. Now that is true. Some families do feel powerless and they're victims in as well, aren't they? Because the amount of people have got hatred towards this family, even though they've got nothing to do with it. They didn't do it, but still, they get painted with the same brush, don't they? What are your thoughts? The gap between warning and action can be massive. So let me ask you another question. I don't know I asked you a lot of questions, but it's important because I want to know what you think. Have you seen an example of someone you know where signs were ignored? And what was your reaction? In other words, have you looked at someone or a situation and you thought, right, this needs to be done? You didn't say it, but you thought it. Well, maybe you did say it, but you thought it. And then the people who could have done something about that situation did nothing. Has that ever happened? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever experienced that? Let me know. Because I have. I certainly have. Because for me, I'd say that there are many cases where we look back and ask ourselves, why didn't somebody stop this? Why didn't somebody do something? What are your thoughts? Tell me your stories. We all want to hear it. It's my personal take. Okay, a quick personal take, and I'll try to be light, but this is heavy stuff, isn't it? I think this story absolutely gives me the shivers. The idea of how a home where knives get hidden, threats get whispered, and the system doesn't fully act. That's scary. Now, this system that we have in the UK, it's not volunteers, even though there are volunteers, but we all pay taxes, and we pay a lot of it, billions of it, and it goes to pay for these services. So why is it not getting done? If you were in that home, would you publish a blog or just survive day to day? I'm curious what you think. What would you do? Would you keep it to yourself, or would you share it with your friends? Would you say, my life's hard at the moment, I'm struggling with my lad, he's acting in this way and I don't know what to do? It does say that Axel was sent to a psychologist, but again, nothing happened. But the father would say, and the brother said, yeah, but you're making your assumption, but I am telling you, something's off. But did the dad just think, well, the psychologist knows more than me, I'll just leave it, and then continue with the violent behaviour towards him? You see, when services assess risk, do they look at others as well as themselves? When violent behaviour repeats, what steps jump in? How do parents and families get support before disaster hits? Lots of questions, and these are the questions we need to ask, isn't it? Now the thing is, what can we do apart from talk? And talking is good. It's powerful by you engaging with me. We're coming to a solution. We're learning something. It helps us as humans go about our lives, because there might be people watching this and they're struggling with their kids. We've got to talk about it. We've got to express and articulate ourselves, ask questions, ask for help, because we haven't got all the answers, have we? Let's be honest, mate. We haven't. We're not supermen and superwomen. We're flawed. We're not AI, and even AI doesn't know what it's bloody doing apart from destroying the world. But that's another, excuse me, conversation. We can ask, is someone I know in trouble? This is someone you know who's in trouble. Can we support them? Can we support other families? Can we push for better systems? Of course we can. We can push for better systems, can't we? There's always something that we can do. There's always something we can do more, better. Would you ever reach out to a friend in that situation? Or do you worry you'll say the wrong thing? Because I'm sure you've got friends and you look at their kids and think, oh, little Bobby's, he's got signs. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep it to myself. Would you do that, or would you tell the parent, you need to watch little Billy because there's signs there? What are the signs? There's lots of them. You can usually pick them up very quickly. Narcissistic behaviour, no empathy, dilated pupils, controlling, coercive behaviour, cruelty to animals is a big one, bullying, things like that. Anything that's trying to control, these are all red flags that you have to be aware of. Now for me, I try to say something, because silence feels like a luxury that we can't really afford to take, can we? Right, let's look at this. Let's look at the screen here. Let's see what this says here. So this is all on the news at the moment. There you go, the BBC News. It's being updated all the time, and this is live. Live coverage ends. Let's have a look, see what it says. Okay. The inquiry had heard that the killer told the police he wanted to make poison during the bus incident March in 2022. Hey, a minute, isn't that about... sorry, this is live, so I do apologise. That's more crap that's going on in the world. It really is. It doesn't bloody stop. But it says here, the father of the Southport killer, Axel, I'm not going to pronounce his surname, is given evidence at the public inquiry into the stabbing. He is being asked what information he shared with different agencies about his son's destructive behaviour at home. On several occasions, he said he had been threatened by his son, obviously him being the father. And the inquiry heard that the father said the family felt lonely after settling in the UK following the Rwanda genocide in the 1990s, and how his son would lash out with violent outbursts. But apparently, am I getting my words mixed up here? But he was born in the UK, so how would he be traumatised, this young lad? So that's not going to have any effect over anything, is it really? How can it? How can it? Because he was brought up in the UK. He didn't know anything else, because he was like you. If you're from the UK, you'd understand. It doesn't matter where you're from, but whatever country you're from, you get values, belief systems, through the school system in your local area, community area, your parents, you learn, you develop. More than likely, if you're born in England, you usually got Christian values because it's built on Christianity, even though there's Muslim beliefs and there's also other beliefs, Hindu, Catholic, every belief you can possibly think of. And that's all right because we're an integrated country. But the thing is, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Soft Lad, this idiot who did all these horrible things. I still can't get over it. It literally traumatized me, and a lot of things don't bother me. But this one did, and what he did to them little girls. So my granddaughter was the same age as them. Now, if I was a victim, if I was the parents of them little children, I can't even imagine how they feel. Even though it was a while ago now, that pain will not ever go away. Scary stuff. What's one thing you believe needs to change? Again, is it family supports, schools, mental health services, or all the above? Better parenting? Is it the parents' fault? What do you think? There's a lot of questions that we can ask. And will we find the answers? Probably not. But God loves a trier, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the answer, and sometimes we can't get the answers, but we're not going to stop trying. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching and sharing your comments and giving all your feedback, because I love hearing it. But anyway, until next time, guys, take care, God bless, and I'll see you very soon in the future, because I'm sure there's going to be more bad news coming our way, because unfortunately that's the world we live in. Till next time, see you later.